Now normally when I go out on a hike or a camp or anything like that, when it comes to cooking or boiling water, my go-to is always gas. But I have tried a few other things over the years. The three ones that I've mainly gone to would either be the gel blocks from Fire Dragon, the liquid gel from Fire Dragon, or just simple meths. Continuity error. It was sunny when I started this walk, so I wanted to find out which fuels are best really. So I've just come up with an exceedingly simple test to see which one burns for the longest. So I'm heading to my favourite spot here in Havant Forest Park, and I'm going to find out. And just like that, the sun's out again. That's better. So like I said, I'm keeping it really basic today. I've got a BCB Fire Dragon stove, which I'm just going to fill the reservoir with the three types of fuel. The first fuel I'm going to use is this, Fire Dragon solid gel tablets. Now in the interest of fairness, once I've used this, I'm going to refill the container with each other fuel, just so I know I'm using exactly the same amount each time. Now I'm going to boil some water while I'm at this as well. Obviously I'm not going to use all three batches, but I'd be ashamed to waste it. I'm not going to go crazy. I'm going to go about 200 millilitres of water. Not too worried about boil times. It's more how long the fuel itself will burn for, just because that way I'll know that I can either boil more water or burn a couple of cups worth, whether it be for one for my tea and then one for food. Yeah, I've got to be really careful when you're first lighting these, because it's not that apparent that they are lit. So you can barely see the flame. And this is why I love this type of fuel and these types of stoves. Absolute silence. Just sitting here listening to the birds. There we go, we've got a boil. That was about 9 minutes, and there's still a little bit left in there, so you may be able to get a little bit more water boiled, but I don't think enough for a second batch. I'm not going to have a coffee just yet. Now there is one caveat I put to this, and that's very much the type of stove you're using with your fuel as well. So these Fire Dragon blocks and the liquid gel I've got, they're pretty much designed for this type of stove. The meth, however, I don't know how that's going to perform in such an open container. I have brought my little speedster stove with me, and I may fill that up as well, just to see what sort of difference there is. There we go, we've just got 12.5 minutes out of that. So yeah, probably enough for a bigger batch of water. Maybe, I don't know, 350 ml. Certainly enough for a meal. Time to give the liquid gel a go. Now, I'd expect this is probably going to be fairly similar as the blocks, but like I said, keep it fair and use the same amount. We'll see how we get on. And there's kind of a reason why I've stayed away from these types of stoves in general when I'm camping, and I've always used the gas, most of the time at least. And that's just down to the the wind protection. I find this BCB pretty much got nothing other than a small little metal flap on the back. My Speedster stove, I've got a windbreaker that's built for it, but I find it's not the best. I need something that fits my pot better. And what I really want is something like a Stormin Norman cone, but they don't make them anymore. But I've recently seen there's a guy, Stripey Hat Guy, I think his name is, Paul Messner, featured his design on one of his videos recently of a titanium cone, and that's exactly what I'm looking for, to be honest, because with these types of stoves it's so much more efficient to contain that heat as much as possible, which you don't really get on something like this. I know there are other things out there, but they do tend to be quite expensive, and this Kickstarter I've seen, it looks pretty good for the money, so I may well be biting the bullet soon. You can see why this is my favourite spot. As a certain someone would say, absolutely beautiful. Wow, that's almost identical. Just over 9 minutes to get a boil, which I kind of expected, considering it is basically the same fuel, just in a different form really. And just like before, I've still got a little bit left, so we may have pretty similar burn times as well. Now this water I'm not going to waste, just because I don't trust the methylated spirits in this type of container to burn long enough to get me a boil. Not brought my spoon with me. So I'm using the camper's alternative. So that one did give me slightly less. It was what, 12.5 minutes for the solid fuel, and that was 11 minutes for the liquid version. On to the meths. Right, while that's going, I suppose I should ask you at this point to help out if you can and subscribe to the channel. Now, I normally leave this bit to the end of my videos when most of you aren't watching, but I thought I'll throw it in here while you're interested, if any of you are. But it really does help out. Any likes on videos, shares, comments, subscribes, it all helps the algorithm really and helps grow the channel. Now, I'm never going to be that type of person who has the latest gear and goes out every week on a camp. I haven't got the budget or the time with the young family that I've got to do anything like that. But when I do get out, I hope you do enjoy the videos I put together, and it really does mean a lot when I see those likes and those comments coming through on my videos. I try and think of different things if I can as well, because I can do so many videos of just going and camping on a hill, but I do try and mix it up a little bit. And if that means coming to my favourite spot, sitting in silence, drinking a nice coffee at 10 o'clock in the morning, then who's to argue with me? So that was actually a little bit quicker as far as the boil time goes. That was about 7.5 minutes, but I'm literally just on the edge of running out. Now, it's as I thought really. This type of design doesn't really lend itself to methylated spirits, but in the interest of fairness, I am going to like the Speedster stove. So this thing is probably going to take, I don't know, half the amount of meth that I just put in the BCB. But the big difference here is that I've got a windbreak that comes with it, and that should keep that heat contained. As you can see, the windbreak that comes with this has got these little tabs on the inside, and that's just to rest your pot on. But I do find it a bit of a faff. And I can't close it all the way around because it means then I've got nowhere for my pot handle to sit. I don't know if you're still watching. Are you still watching? Is this interesting? It is to me. So you can see the difference there in how much that windbreaker would be keeping the heat in around the pot, so you're not wasting any. But like I said, this particular windbreaker is a bit of a faff. I've had a look at others. So if you've got any ideas, then put them in the comments below. Now, I will stipulate, I'm very much a budget type of guy. So, nothing too expensive. Don't recommend me a Caldera cone. I think they're £100 or something like that. Well, there you go. Proves the theory. That was 5 minutes, and I've still got plenty left in there. And the great thing with this is that once you're done with it, you just pop the cap back on. I do love these types of stoves. Like I said, I love the peace and quiet of them. If you're comparing costs though, this is definitely cheaper. I think this thing is about £1.80, I think I've seen online, and this, I'm sure it was 20 odd quid. I've had it a couple of years now. I can't remember exactly how much. Now the fuel, the gel, whether it's the liquid or the fuel tablets for Fire Dragon, that's pretty cheap as well. And methylated spirits is pennies, let's face it. But it's horses for courses really. Everybody's different, everyone's got their preference, everyone's got their own methods. Don't take my word for it on any of this or what you should do. Pick whatever's best for you. So that's just a quick little look at some of the fuel and stove combos that I've got in the bag. I know this could be an endless list, and no doubt you lot have got far more than I have, and a lot more tips and tricks than I can give. If you have watched up until this point, thank you very much. If you've enjoyed it, give it a like, and like I said before, if you can do anything, whether it's subscribing, commenting, liking, sharing, everything's appreciated to help out the channel. If you do want to see any more, you can do that up here, and if you want to subscribe, you can do that down there. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one.